Renuka Devi is an assistant professor at the Department of Statistics, Presidency College, Chennai. Mrs. R. Renuka Devi has done her MPhil from Madras Christian College. She has 23 years of teaching experience and has published one research paper. She has also presented, participated, and organized conferences and workshops on statistics-related subjects.
Welcome to UGC lecture series on mathematical sciences. In today's session, the topic for our discussion is regression analysis. The content under regression analysis are simple linear regression, estimation of the parameters, hypothesis testing on the slope and the intercept, interval estimation and prediction of new observations. Now, let us consider the simple regression problem. So, the simplest form of the regression problem is deal with one dependent variable and one independent variable. Let the dependent variable be denoted by y and the independent variable by x. Suppose if you are given a sample of n individuals and we observe for each value of x and a value of y. The n pairs of observations are denoted by x1, y1, x2, y2 and so on, xn, yn. And the mathematical form of the regression, it is a linear regression, and linear regression line can be described by an equation of the form y is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 x plus epsilon, where beta naught is called the y intercept of the line, beta 1 the slope of the line and epsilon is the random error component. Beta naught and beta 1 are the constant and they are unknown. And here epsilon is assumed to follow normal distribution with mean 0 and variance sigma e squared. The parameters beta naught, beta 1 they are called as regression coefficients. The slope beta 1 is actually the change in the mean of the distribution of y, and it is produced by a unit change in x. That is, whenever there is a change in x, then the change will be there in the mean of the distribution, that is denoted by beta 1. And if the range of the data x includes the value 0, then the intercept beta naught is the mean of the distribution of the response y when x is equal to 0. Now, we will see the procedure of estimating the parameters beta naught, beta 1 and sigma squared. First, we have here the least square estimation of the parameters beta naught and beta 1, and the estimators are estimated using the sample data. Suppose we have n pairs of the data y1, x1, y2, x2 and so on, yn, xn, and the sample regression model written in terms of the n pairs of data is yi is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 xi plus epsilon I, and I ranges from 1 to n. And here we follow the method of least squares to estimate the unknown parameters beta naught and beta 1, that is the difference between the observations yi and the straight line is minimum. That is the principle of method of least squares. The error sum of squares is always minimum. So, the criterion of least square method is here given as S of beta naught comma beta 1 is equal to summation of yi minus beta naught minus beta 1 xi the whole squared, and which is supposed to be minimum. And now, we will see how to estimate beta naught and beta 1. Least square estimators of beta naught and beta 1 could be denoted by beta naught cap and beta 1 cap, and they must satisfy the equations dou s by dou beta naught, which is equal to, so this is obtained from the previous thing. So, here we defined s as summation yi minus beta naught minus beta 1 xi the whole squared. So, we have to differentiate partially with respect to beta naught and beta 1 to obtain the estimators of beta naught and beta 1. So, the first equation is dou s by dou beta naught is equal to minus twice summation over I is equal to 1 to n yi minus beta naught minus beta 1 xi, and this is equal to 0, and the second equation is dou s by dou beta 1, that is with respect to beta 1. Here we have twice summation of yi minus beta naught minus beta 1 xi into xi is equal to 0. So, here I ranges from 1 to n, and simplifying these two equations we get n beta naught plus beta 1 summation xi is equal to summation yi, and beta naught summation xi plus beta 1 summation xi squared is equal to summation yi xi. So, these two equations are known as least square normal equations. Least squares normal equations. By solving these two equations, we can obtain the values of beta naught and beta 1. Now, the solution of the normal equations is given by beta naught. So, it is beta naught cap estimator, which is given by y bar minus beta 1 cap x bar, and for beta 1 the estimator is beta 1 cap, which is equal to summation yi xi, summation is ranges sigma is over I is equal to 1 to n minus summation over I is equal to 1 to n yi into summation over I is equal to 1 to n xi by n, and the whole thing is divided by summation over I is equal to 1 to n xi squared minus summation xi the whole squared by n. This we obtain by solving the two least squares normal equations, where y bar is equal to summation yi by n and x bar is nothing but summation xi by n means. So, beta naught cap and beta 1 cap are called least square estimates of the intercept and slope. Now, we will see the estimation of variance sigma squared. The estimate of sigma squared is obtained from the residual or error sum of squares. The residual or error sum of squares is denoted by SS RES. So, RES nothing but residual error sum of squares, which is nothing but sigma over I is equal to 1 to n EI squared, and it is the actually difference between the estimated value and the actual value. So, summation over I is equal to 1 to n yi minus yi cap the whole squared. A convenient computing formula for SSRES may be found by substituting yi cap is equal to beta naught cap plus beta 1 cap xi in the above equation. See here, beta naught cap and beta 1 cap are nothing but least square estimators for the intercept and slope, and by simplifying this equation we get the sum of squares due to residual error as SST minus beta 1 cap SXY. The residual sum of squares has n minus 2 degrees of freedom, because 2 degrees of freedom are associated with the estimates of beta naught and beta 1, which are represented by beta naught cap and beta 1 cap. And the expected value of the sum of squares due to residual is n minus 2 into sigma squared. So, an unbiased estimator of sigma squared is obtained by sigma squared cap is equal to sum of squares due to residual divided by n minus 2, and this we know by definition, this is nothing but mean sum of squares due to residuals. Now, we will see the hypothesis testing on the slope and intercept. Suppose that we wish to test the hypothesis that the slope equals a constant, say beta 1 0. Now, we have the appropriate hypothesis as h naught such that beta 1 is equal to beta 1 0 against the alternative h 1 such that beta 1 is not equal to beta 1 0. Here we could see that it is two tailed alternative, and here we have the test statistic for testing the slope and intercept. See, we know that the error factor follows normal distribution identically and independently distributed with mean 0 and variance sigma e squared, and yi follows normal identically independently distributed with mean beta naught plus beta 1 xi comma sigma squared. We know that beta 1 cap is a linear combination of observations from the least square estimator, and it follows normal with mean beta 1 and variance sigma squared by syx. And the test statistic for testing our null hypothesis here is z naught is equal to beta 1 cap minus beta 1 0, this is under h naught, divided by the standard error. So, square root of the variance, which is sigma squared by syx, follows normal with mean 0 and variance 1. So, here this is the test statistic to test h naught against h 1 when sigma squared is known. When sigma squared is known, if sigma squared is unknown, we can replace it by its unbiased estimator given by sigma squared cap, which is equal to mean sum of squares due to residual n minus 2 into mean sum of squares due to residual by sigma squared follows chi squared with n minus 2 degrees of freedom, and here beta 1 cap and mean sum of squares due to residuals are independent. By the definition of t statistics, we have t naught is equal to beta 1 cap minus beta 1 0 divided by standard error, that is square root of mean sum of squares due to residuals divided by syx, and this follows t distribution with n minus 2 degrees of freedom, and we can always compare the calculated value with the table value for t n minus 2 degrees of freedom. So, here we have absolute value of t naught is greater than t alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 if we reject h naught. If the absolute value of t naught is greater than the table value for n minus 2 degrees of freedom at alpha by 2 level of significance, we reject h naught. We can rewrite the test statistics t naught as t naught is equal to beta 1 cap minus beta 1 0 divided by standard error of beta 1. Now, a similar procedure can be used to test the hypothesis about the intercept. So, in the previous one we test the we perform the hypothesis testing on the slope, and similar manner we can perform the hypothesis testing on the intercept. So, here the h naught is such that beta naught is equal to beta 0 0 against h 1 such that beta naught is not equal to beta 0 0. So, here we can use the test statistic given by t naught is equal to beta naught cap minus beta 0 0, this is under h naught divided by square root of standard error, that is square root of mean sum of squares due to residual into 1 by n plus x bar squared divided by sxx. So, that we can write it as beta naught cap minus beta 0 0 by this is standard error of beta naught cap. So, we reject the null hypothesis if the absolute value of T naught is greater than T alpha by 2 and for n minus 2 degrees of freedom, we reject the null hypothesis H naught. If otherwise, we may accept H naught. And now we have an important testing, that is testing significance of regression. Here the hypothesis is that H naught such that beta 1 is equal to 0 against the alternative beta 1 is not equal to 0. These hypotheses relate to the significance of regression. So, failing to reject H naught implies that there is no linear relationship at all between x and y, and the test procedure is developed by two methods. We have two methods to perform this testing significance of regression. So, first approach, we may use T naught is equal to beta 1 cap minus beta 1 0 divided by square root of mean square error due to residuals by SYX. So, here with beta 1 0 is equal to 0. In the second approach, we can use the test statistic T naught is equal to beta 1 cap by, so this is first one, and in second approach we can use the test statistic beta 1 cap by standard error of beta 1 cap, and the hypothesis of significance of regression would be rejected by the same argument, that is if modulus of T naught is greater than T alpha by 2 for n minus 2 degrees of freedom. Now, we will see the confidence intervals on beta naught, beta 1 and sigma squared. So far we have estimated beta naught, beta 1 and sigma squared. We got a particular value for the unknown parameters called by the method called point estimation. So, here we have interval estimation for the unknown parameters slope and intercept, also sigma squared. Width of the confidence intervals measures actually overall quality of the regression line. Now, we will see the procedure of obtaining beta naught, beta 1 and sigma squared in the form of intervals. So, the sampling distribution of both beta 1 cap minus beta 1 by standard error of beta 1 and beta naught cap minus beta naught by standard error of beta naught or T distribution with n minus 2 degrees of freedom. So, the distribution of these two is T distribution with n minus 2 degrees of freedom. So, therefore, 100 into 1 minus alpha percent level of confidence interval on the slope beta 1 is given by beta 1 cap minus T alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 of standard error of beta 1 cap is less than or equal to beta 1 is less than or equal to beta 1 cap plus T alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 into standard error of beta 1 cap. So, this becomes the upper limit and this becomes the lower limit, and 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval for the intercept beta naught is obtained as beta naught cap minus T alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 into standard error of beta naught cap is less than or equal to beta naught is less than or equal to beta naught cap plus T alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 into standard error of beta naught cap. Again this becomes the upper limit and this becomes the lower limit, and errors are IID. So, the sampling distribution of n minus 2 mean square error due to residual divided by sigma squared, and it is a chi squared variate with n minus 2 degrees of freedom. So, the confidence interval for sigma squared is obtained through the probability of chi squared 1 minus alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 is less than or equal to n minus 2 mean square error due to the residuals divided by sigma squared is less than or equal to chi squared alpha by 2 comma n minus 2, and this is equal to 1 minus alpha. So, now 100 into 1 minus alpha percent confidence interval on sigma squared is obtained as n minus 2 into mean square error due to residuals divided by alpha chi squared alpha by 2 comma n minus 2 is less than or equal to sigma squared is less than or equal to n minus 2 mean square error due to the residuals divided by chi squared 1 minus alpha by 2 comma n minus 2. Now, the next topic under regression analysis would be the prediction of new observation, that is estimation of new observation, and this is an important application of the regression model. The prediction of new observations y corresponding to a specified level of the regressor variable x is being carried out. If x naught is the value of the regressor variable of interest, then y naught cap is equal to beta naught cap plus beta 1 cap x naught is the point estimate of the new value of the response variable y naught. And here we will develop a prediction interval for the future observation y naught. Let phi is equal to y naught minus y naught cap. This is normally distributed with mean 0 and variance sigma squared. So, here variance of xi is equal to variance of y naught minus y naught cap, which is obtained as sigma squared into 1 plus 1 by n plus x naught minus x the whole square divided by s x y. The 100 into 1 minus alpha percent prediction interval on a future observation at x naught is y naught cap minus t alpha by 2 with n minus 2 degrees of freedom into square root of m mean square error due to residuals into 1 plus 1 by n plus x naught minus x bar the whole squared by s x x is less than or equal to y naught is less than or equal to y naught plus t alpha by 2 with n minus 2 square root of mean square error due to residuals into 1 plus 1 by n plus x naught minus x bar the whole squared by s x x. The prediction interval is of minimum length at x naught is equal to x bar and widens as x naught minus x bar increases. We can observe that the prediction interval at x naught is always wider than the confidence interval at x naught. And we have one more method called the method of maximum likelihood, which is also used to estimate the unknown parameters beta naught and beta 1. If the form of the distribution is known, we can use the method of maximum likelihood estimation, and here the data is considered as yi comma xi, I ranges from 1 to n, and we assume that the errors in the regression model are normally identically distributed as mean 0 and variance sigma squared. Then the observations yi in this sample are normally independently distributed random variables with mean beta naught plus beta 1 xi and variance sigma squared. The likelihood function is found from the joint distribution of the observations. If we consider this joint distribution with the observations given and the parameter unknown constants, that is here beta naught and beta 1, we have the likelihood function as L of yi. So, xi when the parameters beta naught, beta 1 and sigma, this is equal to product over I is equal to 1 to n 2 pi sigma squared to the power half and e to the power minus 1 by 2 sigma squared into yi minus beta naught minus beta 1 xi the whole squared. So, mean here beta naught plus beta 1 xi and variance is sigma squared. We can take log L and differentiating log L with partially with respect to beta naught and beta 1 equating to 0, we obtain the maximum likelihood estimators for beta naught and beta 1. So, dou log L by dou beta naught is equal to 0 gives the estimator MLE estimator as beta naught cap is equal to y bar minus beta 1 cap x bar, and dou log L by dou beta 1 is equal to 0. By solving this equation, we get the estimator as beta 1 cap is equal to summation yi xi minus x bar divided by summation xi minus x bar the whole squared, sigma squared cap as summation yi minus beta naught cap minus beta 1 cap xi the whole squared by n. We can notice that the MLEs of the intercept and the slope are identical to the least square estimators. In general, MLEs have some better properties, supposed to be the better statistical estimators than the least square estimators. The MLEs are unbiased and they have minimum variance when compared to all other unbiased estimators. They are also consistent estimators. MLEs are a set of sufficient statistics, that is, it contains all the information in the original sample of size n. Now, the summary of our discussion: simple linear regression model has been considered, and the estimation of the parameters beta naught and beta 1 is carried out, and we also estimated the variance sigma squared. Hypothesis testing on the slope and intercept is discussed. Confidence interval for beta naught, beta 1 and sigma squared are obtained, and we have done prediction of new observations, and finally the other method of obtaining the estimators, that is method of maximum likelihood estimation, is also discussed, and we compared the method of maximum likelihood estimation with the method of least squares. The questions are: write the simple linear regression model. What is the method of least squares? Write the least square estimators for beta 1 and beta naught. Explain the method of estimation of variance. Write the set of hypotheses for testing significance of regression, and write 100 into 1 minus alpha % confidence interval on the slope and intercept. Thank you for listening to the UGC lecture series on mathematical sciences.